So, Jim Carrey, with your recent string of disappointing to terrible movies, don't you think that maybe for your career, when you actually appear in something decent, you don't create some sort of weird fake controversy and come off as some sort of untrustworthy business partner who reneges on his contractual obligations?
Ready to go again?
What do you want me to do?
Hit me.
You're a 15-year-old girl. Oh. What the hell?
Act like a bitch, get slapped like a bitch.
Oh, God.
Oh, take your tampon out, Dave.
Kick-Ass 2 is the sequel to Kick-Ass, obviously, which is a decent enough postmodern superhero action comedy, which I'm not going to summarize here. You can see it yourself, you lazy piece of shit.
Training every day. And there were more and more people joining us every night.
Colonel Stars and Stripes reporting for duty.
Kick-Ass 2 stars actors, among them including the ever-talented Chloe Grace Moretz. Can't wait till she turns 18.
Otherwise, what's the point?
Not Michael Cera or Jesse Eisenberg, dude. Christopher Mintz-Plasse, Christopher Mintz-Plotz, or is it Turk, Clark Duke, and Jim Carrey.
Henceforth I'll be known as the motherfucker.
It's not written or directed by Matthew Vaughn, which is modern film lingo for lower your expectations.
Who is this guy?
He's claiming to be the world's first real supervillain. What an asshole.
Now, I did read the original run of the comic book series Kick-Ass by Mark Millar. I read the first story arc, and I liked it well enough. I thought it was decent enough, and that's kind of my feelings about the first movie. The Kick-Ass series, in my mind, is that there's nothing particularly bad about them, but there's really nothing exceptional. There's nothing that makes the Kick-Ass series really stand out among the pack. And with this ever-continuing trend of, postmodern superhero movies about characters who decide to become a superhero in our universe, in the real world, and they kind of run into terrible consequences because of them, Kick-Ass kind of gets lost among the pack. Actually, if you want a really good, really exceptional example of one of those types of movies, of one of those types of stories, then I would highly recommend James Gunn's Super. It's one of those movies that you really kind of have to see a couple times before you can really formulate an opinion of it, because like every James Gunn movie, you might find it repulsive the first time around. It might take 15 views, but you will start to appreciate the masterpiece that is Romeo and Juliet. But if there's really anything about the first Kick-Ass that you can separate among the others, is Matthew Vaughn's directing style. Since Layer Cake, I think it's been identifiable that Matthew Vaughn's filmmaking has a particular style, it has a particular flair, and he's applied that style to all his movies. And for Kick-Ass, it kind of shows. There's a little bit of a studio picture quality to Kick-Ass, but you can feel Matthew Vaughn's directing in it, and you can feel his flair in it. And also, Mark Strong in that movie is really good. I pretty much dislike Mark Strong in anything Mark Strong's in, but I really liked him in that movie. But of course, Mark Strong's character is now dead. So who do we have as the villain in this movie? Oh boy.
We're putting an end to this costume freak. If they're wearing a mask, they're getting detained.
Promise me that you will never dress up in that outfit again.
Now, like the first movie, this is a decent enough film. It's entertaining enough, it's fun. It has a really cool cast with a lot of actors that I like to see. It has a lot of really, really good acting, particularly from Chloe Grace Moretz. She's a really good actress. I'm actually a really big fan of her. Not looking forward to the Carrie remake, but that's a whole different issue. We'll get into that when that movie comes out. Not Michael Cera or Jesse Eisenberg. He does a pretty good job as his character. He does a good job as Kick-Ass. He's good in the first film. He's good in this movie. Basically, all of the actors who are returning from the first movie, who did a good job in the first movie, they do a good job in this movie too. Same with a lot of the newer actors. I really like Donald Faison, and I really like to see him in movies that don't have anything to do with hospitals and don't have anything to do with him being a surgeon. I loved Scrubs, but I want to see those actors do something different. Where did Zach Braff go besides Kickstarter? I'm kind of serious when I ask that, because after Scrubs ended, Zach Braff has all but disappeared. Oh, he was in Oz. Jim Carrey is actually really good in this. He puts in a really good performance in this. He's only in about half of the movie, and he's not really in that much of that half of the movie that he's in, but he's really good in it, and I liked his character, and I kind of wish the movie focused a little bit more on where his character came from and what was up with his character and how his character became the superhero that was Captain Stars and Stripes or whatever. I think that would have been a lot more fun. It would have added something to this film that was kind of lacking. And don't forget about John Leguizamo. He's good. Like the first movie, this has a good pace, this has a good flow, it has a nice feel. It's relatively short and it feels pretty short. I went to another advanced Thursday night screening for this one, this time at 8 p.m. and the end credits started and I was out of the theater by 9:55. So it is a pretty brisk movie. It feels pretty brisk, and that I would say is a good thing, is a positive thing. If you can economically use your time to tell your story, then bravo, you're doing it right. And the team concept, I think, allows for a couple of scenes and a couple of moments in the film that I think might help to separate it from the pack a little bit. For example, there's this massive like shootout at a funeral and it gets really violent, it gets really bloody, and it ends with a chase sort of scene, which is very graphic and very violent and very satisfying. And of course, we know how I love the violence. And the character Mother Russia is definitely a standout in this movie. There's a scene where she's just taking out a string of cop cars, just one after the other, in pretty glorious and violent ways. But the violence might actually be where the problems with this film begin.
Kick-Ass isn't a costume. It's who you really are.
Because for the most part in this movie, everything felt really toned down, and not just the violence, but this movie kind of lacked a sense of urgency. It lacked a sense of action. There's a lot of scenes of the characters on patrol, walking the streets, but when you compare it to the action of the first film, the pace of the first film, this kind of feels dry. It also kind of feels a little bit hollow for that. It has a lack of action, and it doesn't really help that the action scenes themselves are not filmed that great. It's the same fucking bullshit of the too close shaky cam that is predicating all action movies that exist now. That is not what was happening in the first movie. The first movie had a lockdown camera and they were actually set back a pretty far distance. This movie has no concept for that. The camera is right up close. The cutting is too rapid. The angles are too jarring. You can't really tell what's going on. And while there is violence in this film, it's all CG blood. It's all really shitty blood makeup. Throughout this film, there are these instances of the characters having this like really terrible line of blood coming out of the side of their mouth, and it literally looks like someone just took some red paint with their finger and just went like, it looks terrible. It's so weird, and it just adds to all these other little instances in the film where things kind of come off as this is some sort of low-rent sequel to the first movie.
My daddy made me promise I'd never stop defending this city. I'm prepared for anything.
We gotta make this right.
The anticipation's killing me.
And it's not helped by the fact that a lot of the subplots in this movie, a lot of the themes in this movie, it's ground that was already treaded in the first movie, and a lot of it feels fucking trite. It feels almost 90s. There's a subplot with Chloe Gross Moretz and the popular mean girls at her school, which just feels so goofy and stupid nowadays, especially after a film like Mean Girls. And the fact that it's in a comic book movie almost makes it sillier, almost makes it goofier. And a lot of those themes of identity, of the consequences of taking on the mantle of being a superhero in the real world and the real consequences that come out of those. That's territory that was already done in the first movie. It was more well handled in the first movie. This movie really didn't have anything new to say. It wasn't really doing anything new. It's just kind of closing off the story of what happened to Christopher Mintz-Plasse's character, what happened to Red Mist, and it's really nothing more. And it's just not particularly engaging. It's just not particularly involving. It's kind of the problem that you see with the entire Kick-Ass series. There's nothing really spectacular about it. There's nothing really exceptional about it. It's not bad, but there's nothing to make it really stand out. There's nothing to make it really worthwhile.
What's the birdie?
There's no room for punks in suits. Just real heroes who can really kick ass.
Game on, cocksuckers!
It's a decent enough rental. Wait for Netflix, wait for streaming, watch it for free, don't pay for it, but it's decent enough.
Who the hell are you?
We're the good guys.
You're the dead guys. Franz, wieder. Ow! Jesus! Yeah, there's a dog on your balls.
Also, remember when Roger Ebert created his own fake controversy around the first film, thus igniting a Twitter flame war that lasted for weeks? Thank God that guy's dead.